Hello, this is Craig, and I've been invited to do a live video stream on the community of Divine Love, so it's really lovely to be here. I'm hoping that this is working. This is the first time I've done this, so hopefully people can see me, and hopefully people can hear me. So I will just wait. As it's my first time, I'm noticing a few jitters. So I'm just going to wait and gain my presence, my mindful being, before starting. So I'll just allow people to arrive as I will arrive here. So welcome. Um, I see there's some comments already, so good morning. Very pleased to be here. Lovely that people are here and watching me, and it appears that everybody can see me. So my plan today is to talk a bit about mindfulness, because that is what I do, but in relationship to what's happening in the world. There's issues at the moment in the world. I kind of call it the great distraction. I'm wanting to talk a bit about the great distraction, uh, and how we can help ourselves to become more mindful, to become less distracted, because it's the great distraction that's causing a lot of issues and a lot of problems in life, including our own. So, what do I mean by the great distraction? Well, if you think of your mind, um, it's always on the go. It's always distracted. It's always thinking about something. It's tending to think about plans for the future. You could be thinking, well, once I've watched Craig, I will go off and I'll do this and I'll do that and da 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 da. So your mind is always sort of thinking, what next? What next? And so you're kind of distracting yourself from the present moment, from here, from truly being here. There's also distractions with technology. We all have mobile phones, we all have TV on tap. There's lots of things in life that is distracting us. And we tend to analyze things very much. We tend to be thinking a lot about what we see. We could be scrolling in Facebook and we could be getting distracted by all sorts of things. There could be a comment on our Facebook, for example, and we might sort of go, oh, I'm not sure about that. And so we distract our minds by judging things that we see. So all this kind of judging and all this distracting in our mind is what takes us away from our presence, our being, our true love center, if you like. When you're present in the moment, there is just being, and being is a very powerful place to be, because you're tuning into the real you, the real awareness that is there, always there. And that awareness is peaceful, it's calm, it's joyful. There's also a kindness to it, there's a compassion to it. So you might notice in your own life that when you're rushing from what next to what next to what next, to, oh, I've forgotten about this, I must go over here and do that, oh no, now I've got to go over here, I'm worried about that. The more distraction you give yourself in your mind, the more input that you're tuning into, the more rushing goes on in your mind, the more you feel unease. The more you feel maybe a bit anxious, or it's very easy for things like annoyance to manifest, because you're looking at life and you're not in your life, you're thinking about your life. And your thoughts are full of judgments. They're full of judgments. So we tend to judge ourselves, like, oh, I haven't done that yet, that's terrible, or I'm a procrastinator, or for goodness sake, I wish I'd done that earlier, and now I've got to go back to it, and I'm busy and I'm overwhelmed. And you find when you're judging your life, you're in this great distraction, which is very prominent right now in society because of technology, because everything's at our fingertips. It's training our mind to think more, to be less present. So I'm here to remind you all that we all have our presence, we all have our being, and it can be a simple process of coming back to here and now, to the present moment, practicing mindfulness and meditation. And we will do a short meditation while I'm here, to ground ourselves and center ourselves again in the present moment. When you're centered in the present moment, there's a peacefulness, there's a calmness, your inner peace it arrives. You may find when you're present that there's happiness, there's a joyfulness that comes up. You find that when you're distracting yourself too much in your mind, no happiness is possible, no peacefulness is possible, because you're always thinking about something else, something that's not here, something that's in the future or has already happened in the past. So mindfulness is the practice of coming back to the moment when you notice that you've distracted yourself. So just have a pause, arrive here while you're watching me. And I just invite you just to be, just to sit in the chair, feel the chair you're sitting on. Just become aware of being here now. And just for a few moments, just notice when your mind goes off and starts distracting from the present moment, from what's truly happening. So I'll give you a moment, I'm going to do it too, just to sit. Just notice what's going on in your mind. And it's quite interesting because when you first start to look, your mind can be blank. But after a while, thoughts will come. So just sit for a moment and just notice your thinking. And notice what it is you're thinking about. And now that you're noticing thoughts, you can get a sense of how many thoughts is going on in your mind. And there's quite a few. Just a simple practice of sitting, even for 30 seconds or a minute, you start to notice that there's a lot of thinking going on. Is your thoughts of the past or the future? Are they judging something in some way? You notice that the more judging you do, the less balanced you feel, the less peaceful you feel, and actually you get this heaviness, what I call a heavy body, arises because you're judging things. And a lot of things that we judge we can't actually solve. A lot of things are from our past. So the more you muse about the past and you're judging the past, the more heavy you become. And so there's a letting go process, and it's called mindfulness, and it's about just coming back to your awareness of the here and the now. So with that in mind, we'll do an actual meditation. We did a very short one just there, but I have a singing bowl here it is, and it makes a very nice tone when I strike it. So I just want us to have a few minutes of mindful meditation and see how it makes you feel, because generally when we're not meditating and we're not being, we're living in our mind, in our thoughts, and we're part of this great distraction. And if you stay in the great distraction for too long, you find that your body starts to suffer, and you start to suffer mentally, because all you're doing is building a habit of judging. So with that in mind, I invite you to close your eyes, just relax in your chair. I will hit my singing bowl and we'll do a short meditation. Here we go. So if you just begin by noticing your breath, just notice your in-breath, notice your out-breath. Feeling the air as you breathe in, feeling the air as you breathe out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. And you might notice the rise and fall of your abdomen as you breathe. You might also hear the sound of your breath. Breathing in calmly, breathing out easily. Calm, ease. And just take this moment to observe your body sitting. You might notice the ground under your feet, the back of the chair supporting you. And just get a sense of how you're feeling in this moment. There's no wrong answer to that. Just breathe with your body, just arriving in your body. Breathing in awareness to your body. Breathing out calmness to your body. And as you sit, just notice any thoughts that might be arising. But there's no need to follow those thoughts. You can just watch them coming and going, just like clouds in the sky. You can always come back to your breath or the feel of your body sitting. You may also notice sounds coming and going. Just let everything be exactly as it is. And just know that when you pause and stop like this and just be, you're just letting everything come and go. That this is true rest and self-care. It's a kind act to be present. You're creating space between thinking, space to breathe, space to be in your awareness. And this is cultivating your presence. It helps to give you focus and concentration and less distraction in your mind. So just tune in again to your body and how you're feeling. And notice if there's been a change. Do you feel calmer? More at peace? Is there happiness? Or is there frowning or heaviness? So just taking a few more conscious breaths, following the air all the way through. And then just when you're ready, you can open your eyes if they're closed and come back to your space. Okay, so thank you for doing a meditation with me, a very short mindful meditation. So what I'm hoping you discovered when you did that was that your mind thinks quite a lot. You notice that your mind is thinking and it's being distracted, it's thinking about the future or the past. We're in habits, we've got habit energy that makes us think about the future all the time. We probably wake up in the morning and we're like, right, I've got my to-do list, I've got loads to do, loads to get on with. You might notice emotions in that case. Sometimes when we're thinking too much about the future, we can get anxious, we can get anxiety and nerves. The greatest cause of anxiety is rushing about, is thinking about the future. When you're thinking about the future, you can start to analyze it too much. You can ask, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And that can cause anxiety in your body. So what causes your emotions in your body is your thinking about things that aren't present. So when you're not present, that's when emotions can come, and those emotions are actually welcome messages from your body. I like to think of emotions as a welcome signal from the universe to bring you back to the present moment, because they're only there because you've left the here and the now, because you're thinking about something. So the more you cultivate a meditation practice like what we just did, or a mindfulness practice, which is being where you are and being okay with what is going on where you are. It's not always easy, but we can practice it. You could wake up in the morning and just breathe to begin with. Just think, I'm going to focus on my breathing, not my to-do list. Breathing in, breathing out. And you arrive in the day more mindful, more present. And then you could get up and you could feel the ground under your feet as you walk from your bedroom to your bathroom. So you could be mindfully starting your day, noticing your footsteps. Mindfulness is noticing, observing what is. You might observe the carpet in your toes or laminate flooring. There might be different sounds as you go from room to room. You can have a mindful cup of tea or mindful breakfast in the morning where you're just eating your cereal and you're noticing if your mind is rushing off in the to-do list, and you can go, no, I'm eating my cereal. I'm coming back to cereal. What does my cereal taste like? What do I feel? How am I feeling just now in this moment? And what you're doing with these kind of practices, mindful eating or mindful walking, is you're coming back to the present moment and you're using awareness to be present. And awareness does not need thinking for things to happen. You can walk without thinking. You can eat without thinking. Your body pretty much can do everything without you needing to think about it. So when you're thinking, you're distracting yourself from the present moment. You might be rushing your cereal because you're thinking about getting to an appointment, for example. And so there's a chance for nervous anxiety to come up, you see. So if you're catching all of this with your mindfulness, you can be like, oh, hang on, let me just eat my cereal. This is where I am. I'm eating my cereal. And it can give you peace. It can give you a space before the to-do list overtakes you. And it's very important to be mindful in today's world because there's so much now that we can be distracted by, as I was saying. And so to cultivate a mindful practice is so useful because it can really help ease a lot of your stresses and a lot of your tensions and a lot of anxiety and things like that. But also annoyance and anger and all the emotions you can think of, mindfulness can help. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I hate my life, I've got so much to do, I don't know how I'm going to fit it all in, I really, I don't know how I'm going to cope. All of that is thinking and isn't what's really happening, which what really is happening is you're probably just sitting or walking or standing. So come back to your body in those moments. Don't follow the thoughts. You're not your thoughts. They are just like sounds. They come and they go. They're not really you. So if a thought comes that I can't cope, for example, is a thought, you can notice that thought and you can just go, oh, okay, yeah. I've noticed I'm thinking I can't cope, which is different to saying I can't cope. So I'm just going to let that thought go by like a cloud. What am I doing now? Can I come back to the present moment? That's what mindfulness is inviting you to do. Can I come back to this moment? Well, yeah, of course I can, because I'm conscious of it. So where am I? Am I walking? Am I sitting? Can I feel the body? Can I breathe? Breathing is a wonderful gateway to the present moment. Just as sounds are, you can stop and just listen. Just listen to sounds. Even in a quiet space, you can listen to the quiet. And if you're truly listening to the quietness, then you're being, and being is presence, and there you are, you're being mindful. And so we are all mindful from time to time, and we all have the capacity to be mindful. We all have the capability. It's not a difficult thing to do. We just have to come back to our awareness, and the awareness is always here. It's always here. And so whenever you're feeling uncomfortable or heavy or down or thinking too much or feeling stressed, overwhelmed, come back to your being. That's inviting you to come back to your being. Because on some level you're judging something in your mind. I'm too busy is a judgment. I'm overwhelmed is a judgment. I'm not good enough is a judgment on yourself, which is quite harsh. It's something that I used to do to myself all the time. It used to cause me a lot of anxiety, and I didn't think I was worthy and had all sorts of issues. But noticing these thoughts, you then have control. You can choose to let those thoughts pass by. You don't have to believe in them. Just be who you are. Just be your true nature, which is being. You know, we're all human beings. We're not human doings. Um, and you can do things, but you can do those with being as well. So when you're eating your cereal, just be there totally for your cereal. If you're washing the dishes, be there totally for washing the dishes. Don't be at the dishes and go, I hate the dishes. I wish someone else was doing the dishes. This is thinking about the dishes, whereas actually you're just there. You can just, yeah, wiping this dish, wiping that dish. I'm noticing the smell of the washing up liquid. I'm breathing while I'm at the sink. Each of these opportunities can give you space between your thoughts, which starts to build your concentration, builds your presence, less anxiety as a result, less judgment as a result, less stress in your life as a result. You find your body heals itself. You know, you start to get lighter. You have a light energy. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful place to be, is being. And you've got it wherever you go, because wherever you go, there you are. So you can't get away from it, really. The present moment is always there, but what we kind of cover it up with thinking. We spend our lives in the future and the past, and that's no good for our bodies. So our bodies will tell us, and it's useful to not be upset with your emotions. Don't fight what comes up, because it's coming up for a reason. So if you're anxious, don't go to your mind and go, I hate anxiety. Why can't this go away? I hate this feeling. I'm awful. I'm not coping. You don't need any of that. You just need to be with the anxiety when it comes up. So the anxiety will come and you're like, oh my goodness, I feel anxious. I can breathe with my anxiety. This is what I do when I get anxious. I put my hand on my chest and I breathe with it. Breathing in anxiety, breathing out calmness. You're not adding to the anxious feeling with more thinking, because the more thinking you do about your anxiety or the situation, your anxiety will grow and get bigger. So if you're with your anxiety when it comes up, it starts to settle, it starts to calm. And if you breathe with it, it's very useful. You can calm it down straight away. Same with annoyance, same with anger, same with sadness, same with everything, every emotion. If you're feeling sad, be with the sadness. Don't carry on thinking about what's making you sad. If you're lonely, be with the loneliness. Don't think about what's causing the loneliness. You're just like, I'm here, I'm sitting here, there's no one else here. Yes, this is truth. Let me breathe. I'm feeling uncomfortable. Let me breathe with the uncomfortableness. And you find after a while of being more present with your emotions, they settle, they calm. You feel great, you feel better. It shifts, because everything that comes also goes. So you're never anxious all the time. You're never angry all the time. They come and they go. So don't label yourself as an anxious person, because that's not true. You're only anxious now and then when it comes up. And when it comes up, you can be aware of it with your mindful awareness, and you can be like, I'm seeing you, anxiety, my old friend. You're warning me that I'm thinking about something that's not here. So let me come back here. Let me breathe. No amount of worrying about anything changes the outcome. So let go of your worry. Letting go of your worry is being with the worry, because then you're not thinking about the worry. Thinking is holding on to something. Letting go of thinking, you're letting go. You're letting everything be. So the more being you can cultivate in your life, you'll feel happier. You'll feel loads better. And I hope that that's made some sort of sense. And that's kind of what I really wanted to talk about this morning, was just this: if you can accept where you are and what's happening to you, it settles and it moves away on its own. All you need to do is observe what's happening with your awareness. And that is what mindful practice is. So see if you can cultivate mindfulness in your day. You can do it anytime. It's very useful to do it when you're feeling heavy, as I say, or emotional. Take some time out, have a few minutes to sit somewhere quietly. You could have a cup of tea, slice of cake, whatever you like, but just be with your feelings, allow them to settle, and you'll feel better straight away. And you may also get insight. You may get a clarity of where the emotions come from. A lot of the emotions don't actually come from the moment that they arise. They're from your past and they're triggered by something that happens in the moment. It's quite good sometimes to look at your feelings and like ask questions. It's like, oh, you're here, anxiety. Why are you here again? What is it about this situation? Is it reminding me of something in the past? Greater understanding of your feelings and emotions can help to soften them as well. So, but the trick really is try and be present. The more presence you can cultivate, the easier your life gets. Things are a lot nicer for you. And it's also giving you power in a way. It's giving you, your presence will ripple out and help others. So if you're sitting in a room and everyone's nervous but you're present and you're peaceful and you're calm, that ripples out and can help other jittery people. We're not trying to change anything that's happening outside either. We're just looking at our reaction to what's going on outside. And if our reaction is anxiety, then we breathe and we transform our anxiety into peacefulness. And then the world becomes more peaceful outside. So another tip I would say is everything is in your power to control. Your reaction is what it is that you can control. Even something that's happened that you can no longer solve or fix in your mind, you can solve your viewpoint of it. You can come back to the moment and breathe and see if you can allow the past to be as it has been. There's no point reminiscing and thinking about, oh, if only I'd done that differently, or if only I hadn't said those things. You did say them, you did do the thing exactly as you did it, so it's kind of like, right, okay, you come back to yourself. Can I breathe? Can I accept what's happened? Can I just calm myself in the moment? The moment, everything is peaceful, everything is calm, and it's always here. This calmness is always here. So I just want to finish up by highlighting that awareness is always there. You can always tap into it. Any moment you feel something, come back to your breath, come back to awareness. Awareness, it switches off the thinking mind and your being. And it's a lovely, lovely place to be. And it's like you're meditating on a cushion or something. You can be doing it in a supermarket or when you're driving your car. You can come back and breathe. If something outside is bothering you, come back and breathe. Doesn't matter where you are. Just breathe and allow everything to settle. And you will be present and you won't be distracted. You won't be part of this great distraction, which is getting worse in a lot of ways. So mindfulness is really, really powerful and important now, more than ever, to practice being present, because so much out there, there's so much input, there's so much technology, there's so much habits going on, there's the internet, there's loads of ways we can distract ourselves. So notice if you're rushing around in your mind and you're distracting yourself too much, you're doing too much in one day. Try and do one thing at a time. Try and breathe between each task. Notice how you're feeling. Come back to sitting. I rather have to-be lists than to-do lists. So my to-be list would be sit, breathe, watch the clouds, listen to the rain, go for a mindful walk. These are important things because they're giving you space to actually just you get your clarity, you get your insights, and you gain more peacefulness. So that is everything I wanted to say, and so I'm going to wrap up the video, but I want to thank everybody for coming this morning and listening to me talking, and for doing the meditation. That's wonderful. And I'm really grateful to be here and to have been invited to do this. I look forward to doing more live videos in the future. Um, and I've thoroughly enjoyed sitting here talking about mindfulness. As you might be aware, it's one of my favorite topics. Um, and I would talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. So I have to be mindful that I can be talking too much. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and have a wonderful week. And just, yeah, practice your mindfulness in moments where things are a little bit tricky for you. And I guarantee the trickiness will ease. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'll speak to you again another time. Bye just now.